welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a huge video. Hopefully this isn't going to be a too long of a video, sharing with you books that I pulled out to read during these next 2 months. This is like my fall basket. It's got some like more Halloween, Reformation, autumn, and Thanksgiving books in here. And I want to share with you. I have all of these on my shelves, but you can easily get them from your local library. And if I think there's one in particular that I think you should have on your shelf, I will mention it out, and I'm going to leave a link in the description box below so you can check it out. So let's get started. I've got an infestation of flies, so if I go crazy, this is why. So as you can see, we kind of already started this. This is called Black Powder. This kind of goes along with our history read. This is about Guy Fawkes Knight, and not many people understand that. I'm hoping that if you're a classical or Charlotte Mason education, you totally know what I'm talking about. But my son was born on November 5th, which is Guy Fawkes Knight. And so we have to read this book and just enjoy it. Guy Fawkes was a Catholic that basically tried to overthrow the Protestant, basically he just tried to blow up the House of Parliament. And so now they celebrate it with Guy Fawkes Night, and it's like rebellion and things like that. It would be kind of like the English version of 4th of July. It's the basic way I've put it to my kids. So I have this whole basket. I'm so proud of myself. I went looking all over the house, seeing what I could rearrange so that I could use this for you. Okay, so I'm really glad I have a basket here, and it's full to the brim because this is my favorite time of year. So of course I have a ton of books. I don't know how well this is gonna work out. Alright, so this one I got last year from our local library, and it is The Legend of the Sleepy Hollow, and I thought it was so well done, especially for younger readers, because let's be honest, can get a little creepy. And even at the time, my son, who was 5 years old, could handle it pretty good. So that is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. If you like Washington Irving, this was a good introduction for us, but we have never read the actual one, so I have a copy here of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, complete and unabridged. So, of course, we're going to do that. This one is such a sweet book, and this is one that I highly recommend everybody owning. It is called Down, Down the Mountain by Ellis Credell, and it is the sweet story about these two kids that want singing shoes, and so they end up planting turnips, and they're going to sell the turnips to pay for their shoes. And as they're harvesting them, they are going down the mountain, and they find other people in need, and so they share their turnips with them, so maybe they won't get their shoes after all. And it's just a very sweet, sweet book, and so I really recommend owning this one. I love sharing this book with the children. This is a new one that I've recently picked up at my thrift store. It was only $25. It's called 25 cents. It's called Discover the Season. It was originally $10. And honestly, the reason I got this is because I knew that some of these artworks we could really easily replicate, and actually I did use it for one of my drawings. And then there's some recipes that works really well. Let me pull out, let's see, I ended up copying this bird. Because this one is actually in our front yard right now. It's in the tree. And so we were trying to put it into our nature books. And there wasn't really a good picture of it in our bird book. And I saw this in the store, and I was like, this is why I need it. And so again, there's just little different fun things that you can do during the fall season. Let me find, there were some recipes here. Oh, see, things to do in the fall: you can plant a tree, do a bird feeder, write a letter, you're a senator or a representative, so we're bringing in voting, create a centerpiece, leaf tracing, so things like that. I really, really liked this one. I will probably leave this link down below if somebody wants just a simple nature book. Of course, it's apple season for us, and we go apple picking every year, so I pulled out our infamous Johnny Appleseed, And then some of these are from the library, so hold with me. I've got Apples by Gail Gibbons. Mama Built a Little Nest. That one's by Jennifer Ward, and it's just different bird nests. It's a very, very simple book. It's honestly nothing really great unless you kind of want to copy some of the artwork. But there really is nothing spectacular about it. But it does have like a really easy reading and then a little bit more kind of in-depth down here. See, this one is From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. This, because we're in the Mojave Desert, this is our best time to plant a garden. We are most likely to get our best gardens within the fall, not within the spring. So Why Do Leaves Change Color? Again, classic. And then I actually have a couple more that are over there. I'm not going to be able to get up and get those right now, but just, I won't even fit them in here. So there's more. Right now seems to be a really good time for us to be listening to birds. We've been seeing so many different ones, and so I pulled out my really inexpensive nature resource. I did a video review on this, and I'm going to leave that linked above and down below for you. This is just a very simple, some people get the bigger ones. I got these and I laminated these very inexpensively, and we're just going to try to identify some of the birds in here. There might be Thanksgiving and everything mixed up. We're going to do Pocahontas. Yes, I do know some of the discriminations within this book. Just throwing that out there. Yes, I do. This is another one that I got last year from the library, and I loved it so much that I picked it up. Patty's Pumpkin Patch, and it really goes through the alphabet, naming each one, looking at the patch from A to Z. So hummingbirds and grasshoppers. And I loved doing this one so much last year that I'm going to do it again with my children. I really, really liked this one. If I can find that video, I will leave that linked above. And then I have this one on my shelf, so I thought this would be really fun. Washington Irving is known as one of the first American authors. Before them, we had English authors, etc. And Washington Irving is known as the first American storyteller. So this one isn't that long. And it's got a lot of like pictures telling the story. So there's not a whole lot of information. So that'll be really fun. I think I picked that one up off of Thrift Books. I don't know what it is about fall, but I always get into like the farming books and all of my things like that. And so I have Family Farm by Thomas Locker. Anything by Thomas Locker I have to have and own. His artwork is just amazing. Definitely do just so much. Finding a good illustrator for children's books and a good content can really enrich your school. You don't have to do picture studies. You can just find a really great illustrator, and Thomas Locker is definitely one for me. He has really great content and really great illustrations, so I always recommend his books. And of course I had to pull that one out. Let's see, what else do I have here? I'm afraid that this is going to just knock all over. So our next read aloud, we are finishing up Caddy Woodlawn, which seemed, I think that one's a little bit more winter than fall, but that's okay. But this is our next read aloud that we're going to do. The Adventures of Geraldine Wilkins by Karen Kaufman. And I don't know anything more than that, so I will let you know in an upcoming video. I recently got this in a book box on Swap, and there's just Advent ideas and thankful cookies and melted crayon leaves and all types of things that this just is a great thing, and I'm so thankful to have that, and I'm going to make sure that we do some of those because I'm not very good at doing. I'm very good at reading, not very good at doing. This is one that my mom picked up. She was at, I think, some kind of book writers retreat. I think my mom is an author. And this person was here kind of getting ideas, and my mom said, I want to buy it for my grandchildren. And the lady's like, oh no, I'm just trying to get information. And mom's like, no, you don't understand. My daughter is going to love this. And I do. And I can't wait to share this with my children. It was a grandmother that wrote it for her grandchildren. And so it's just so beautiful. I can't wait for this to actually be in print, and then I will share with you a link down below. Another book I have, only 25 cents, is Pilgrim Cat. We actually had Titanic Cat at one point, and so the kids just really love this story where you're bringing in the animals and just getting a little bit of the historical event with a cat involved. And that is the closest they will ever get to owning a cat. So I'm happy to oblige them in this manner. Of course, another classic that I think everybody knows, Pilgrims of Plymouth, written and illustrated by Marcia Sewell. I think this is probably the most well-known children's Pilgrim book, so we'll be doing that. It's the winner of the Boston Globe, etc., etc. So, of course, we will do that. This one is definitely a summer book in terms of setting, but in terms of reality, we tend to see the relatives more during this time of year. Family comes in, it's just that time for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and so I put this one in there. This one won a Caldecott honor, and it's just a silly little book about the relatives come, and my in-laws have 50 grandchildren, so you can imagine how loud and crazy the house can get. So I definitely thought that was one we had to do. This is one of my favorite Pilgrim stories, Pilgrim Thanksgiving by Wilma Pitchforth Hayes, illustrated by Leonard Weisgard. And I honestly can't tell you much more than that, other than I just remember loving this so much. And I think this, I read it when my older two were like 4 and 5. And to give you an idea, they are 10 and 11. And I just never got to it since then. So this is the year to make sure that happens. And I had this when I was little. I had a hardback copy. And so when I found a paperback copy, of course I had to put it in our little basket. So this one is one that definitely just kind of goes through the Pilgrims through the eyes of little children. And it's so sweet. And we have to do that. This came in our Family Reading Crate by Build Your Library, and Emily at Arc Schooling has a channel here, and I will leave her link down below. So I thought, because of Pilgrims and Thanksgiving, I thought this was a perfect addition to do for our year, for our month reading basket. And then we've got Seasons. So this is a really, really sweet story. I already read it, about a young Li Tai. I don't know if that's Chinese, Korean, or Japanese, because I am not good at that. But basically he starts seeing the leaves fall, and so he thinks the tree is dead, and so the dad explains to him why the leaves fall and what happens, and it kind of goes through the seasons, and you end up back in fall again. So it starts at fall and ends in fall, and I kind of thought that was really appropriate. And then as we work through our astronomy for science, I put this in there because this is clear nights and the moon and everything, so we'll just throw that in there. Of course, Thanksgiving would not be Thanksgiving without the classic and old-fashioned Thanksgiving by Louisa May Alcott, who wrote Little Women. If you do not have this copy, I highly recommend you getting it. There is an abridged version, but this one is illustrated by Holly Johnson, and it is the unabridged version. Now, I know not too long ago they made a movie out of it, but seriously, read the book first if you have not. The movie was pretty good, but the book is always better, and look at those illustrations. So that is definitely one we need to do, and I've already told you about me and farms and this time of year, so of course we're going to do Oxcart Man, one of my absolute favorite books. And this is one that I picked up like a few weeks ago. I just saw it and it screamed to me. And so this is The Memory Coat by Elvira Woodruff, and it's a Jewish take kind of on the whole kneading coat, gift of the Magi type of story from what I could tell. And I also think it goes along with rag quilts, which I saved for our winter basket. Now we are a Christian family, so of course that we acknowledge on October 31st is the nailing of the 95 Thesis. This is one of my favorite stories for my children about Luther, and the illustrations are beautiful about the monk that nailed the 95 Theses, so we will definitely be reading that. I have Year on Maple Hill Farm. I found this one again for $1 at the thrift store, and it wasn't $1, I think it was 50 cents. So just some simple cute illustrations, and again I'll probably just be using that one mainly with the younger ones. I think there was another one that was very simple like that I was thinking would be good for the little ones. We've got Molly's Pilgrim, of course. Everybody needs a Molly's Pilgrim. And I have Stone Fox in here. We'll see if we get to this or not. This might be more of a winter read, not necessarily Thanksgiving read, but it's in here in case we get to it. It seemed like Geraldine Wilkins was a little short, so I have that in there. And then in there I also have these for the children. I have an acquaintance that made these, and she wants to open up an Etsy shop, so I told her I would review them. And so basically it's literally go draw a knight acting on a floating stage, go draw a little knight wearing a silly costume, draw a little knight standing by a pasta throne, draw a little knight, you know, so basically it's filled. And then she actually has some test subjects do that, and she included that in her artwork. And so this one's knights and this one's princesses, which of course my daughter will love. Draw a little princess climbing a mountain of stuffed animals. Draw a little princess sitting on a throne. So as you can see, like, there's some a little bit more experienced ones and a little bit lesser ones. So I'm thinking this will be really fun for my boys to kind of share, and then also for my girls to share. And then the last book I'm going to share with you is, of course, the classic The Thanksgiving Story by Alice. I'm not going to say it, but she's very common. And in my winter basket, or my planned winter basket, I have There Are No Bears on Hemlock Mountain by her as well. So I won't be able to pick this up, but these are the books that I'm hoping that we will get to within the next 2 months. Trust me, it seems like a lot. This video has been long, but it really isn't when you just get down and read 1 or 2 a day with the kids. However it works, it really, really goes by so fast. And some of them are shorter or longer than others, and some of them obviously it's more of a consistent read, and some of them kids just want to look at the pictures, and that's okay. But I hope this video gives you inspiration on just choosing some titles. I hope you were taking notes. I love taking notes on things like this, but I hope you were taking notes so that you can go to your local library, kind of see what they have. So this is what I'm planning on reading to my kids for over the next couple of months. And so I have a question for you. Do you kind of plan out baskets like this? Do you think I'm overambitious? Remember, I have 5 kids, various ages. Am I overambitious? Or do you think we will get through this? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you next time.